In today's video, we're going to look at how we can set up n8n for self-hosting and what are the benefits and what are the multiple ways we can go about it. Now we're going to head over to the n8n website, go over to pricing. You can see that they got a three-tier system. You can start off at an easy 20 euros a month, heading over to 50, and then possibly contacting them if you really want to spend a lot of money with them. However, we're going to be looking at a more cost-effective way about going about this and look at two different ways to do it. That's either self-hosting or utilizing a cloud provider. And if you scroll down, you can see there's a community version and has a few documentation explaining how to go about the setup, and we're going to get into it. Now, a quick rundown and a side-by-side of doing self-hosted n8n as compared to using a cloud-hosted provider. Now, it might seem cheaper to do a self-hosted n8n even if you do have a good overall setup and infrastructure, but overall, we start off with the control. Obviously, you have the full control of the configuration if it's self-hosted as compared to cloud being limited. Now, in terms of cost, obviously you have a one-time cost of infrastructure, and especially if you already have a device that can handle that, there's no monthly fees or subscription costs as compared to cloud, which will cost around about $15 a month minimum. You've got an ease of setup. Obviously, if it's self-hosted, you've got to be a lot more technically knowledgeable as compared to cloud, which is a lot easier to set up and manage. And in terms of security, obviously you do have full control, but require like manual security and management. And in terms of security for the cloud, we're looking at pre-built-in security features. Now, if you do have self-hosted, you are able to scale at a much faster pace depending on your infrastructure. However, cloud is able to automatically scale on demand, so no need to do manual configurations. In terms of uptime on your self-hosted server, there's obviously uncertainty that it all comes down to you and yourself having to fix that issue. So it could take minutes, if not days, depending on how complex the issue is, as compared to cloud hosted, which has SLAs that the company has to meet and would have a 99% uptime, as well as it will be highly available. Now, if self-hosting does really tickle your fancy, you could head over to the n8n's website, head over to GitHub, scroll down, and there's a quick little start guide. It's pretty simple. All you would have to do is just download node.js, type this in, or if you want to be more technical and utilize Docker, you can just deploy with Docker as well, and the instructions are here, and just access that by using the local host. Now let's have a look at the different cloud options that we have that are much easier to set up. So the first one we've got up is the hosting a website. It's quite cheap. Next one is Elestio, and then Railway. Now, the one that we're going to be using today is going to be Elestio, and a couple of reasons behind that is it's got zero setup required, it's fully manageable, and it's got automatic updates, monitoring, security, and backups. That makes it a lot easier for you to not have to worry about anything. It's got choice of providers, as well as that it comes with a custom domain and SSL included. Now, the first thing we're going to do is obviously set up our Elestio account. So we're just going to click on the top right, sign in with our credentials. After you sign in, you should be able to see this screen. We just have to set up a couple things before we can launch our instance. So we're going to head down to accounts. Here you will have to fill out your information. Then at the top here, you can head to the payment options. That's where you're going to set up recurring payments or how much credit you would want after the free trial is done. So you do get a 3-day free trial with 20 credits to spend, and after that, it is removed from the account. So really use it up and try out and see if you like it. Now we're going to just be adding our credit card details. Now once that's completed, you get this notification. Now we'll just head down to the left here to support tickets. Now you can see that our support ticket has been lodged with high priority. This could take up to 45 minutes during the day. After hours, it could take up to an hour, but it is quite quick now. So we're just going to wait for that to be finished up. You can also see the email that came through. After waiting for about 4ish minutes, now you can see it's approved. So now we're going to get into the real nitty gritty of this stuff. So yeah, you can see that it's all been approved, gives you a little text, and as well as that on the bottom left corner, you can see that we've got the credits for the 3 days as well added to the account. Now let's begin the real fun. So we're going to start by setting up our instant. So what we're going to look up is n8n. We got a few options for different servers that we can select. Now, depending on your region, you pick the closest one. So for me, that's going to be Asia. Now heading down to the select service plan, you can see that there's many different options. We're just going to pick the medium option that provides us the overall best experience, I wouldn't click the small one depending on the n8n workflows that you would be running. And it would cause certain issues where it would be very slow for responses. Now, as you can see, depending on the service that you pick, as well as the support level, the price on the right would obviously increase. So we can go with the basic level of support because that's all we need for our overall flow. If you scale up, you can always upgrade over to different tiered support levels. All right, now let's hit create service and wait for our service to deploy. Now, as the VMs and the service would have to boot up, it's obviously going to take a few minutes. So you can have a look at the different options we have here. So you can see the software levels. At the top, you got different option as well. You can see the booting up. If you head down, that's where you are able to access your n8n instance. Now, if we do try to access this at the moment, which I can give it a try right now, it'll show there's a bad gateway as it's still booting up. So we just have to wait a few minutes. All right, after a couple of minutes, you can see it is running at the top. So let's try to access that now. And you can see you're logging in. So you just have to set up your owner account as it's the first time we're logging in. Now, after that's done, we just got a couple more things to do before we can start doing our workflows. So just answer these quick questions. Alrighty, finally, after a quick journey, we are ready to make our n8n workflows. Now, these workflows will be very simple unless you implement MCP servers. Now, that's what I'll be going over in the next video, how to install MCP client, as well as using all the different API options that are provided on their website. We're going to be going through the APIs for Brave, as well as Airbnb, and how to set it up using the OpenAI model and why it's worth it.